one.
You got it.
Okay, we have 6. Perfect. Let me introduce the Habsburg Dynasty, the kings of Spain. And we are gonna talk, no, that was in France.
That's true.
And we are gonna talk about the rise and fall of the Spanish Empire. Or better said, the rise and fall of the Spanish Empire.
They're on the right side.
We're middle of the mic now. Garrote first then.
Now, as I say, well, the Catholic, the names are going to be really easy to remember because the Habsburg were not very original with names. So we are going to have Philip, Charles, Philip, 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 Charles. Easy, right? Now, the Catholic monarchs were the last kings that we were talking about, and the Catholic monarchs were from the Trastámara dynasty, a Spanish dynasty. So how did the dynasty change? When the Catholic monarchs married their sons and daughters with members of the royal families of all over Europe. One of the daughters, Juana, got married with the son of Maximilian I from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a Habsburg. They were never supposed to become king and queen of Spain, because the king was supposed to be the older brother of Juana. But the older brother of Juana died, and the crown was going towards Juana and her husband. The name of that husband? Philip. Philip I. Nickname? Philip the Handsome. Eh?
Oh,
Because,
see?
because he was blonde, blue-eyed, and tall.
At least.
And as you can see here, we are not blonde, we are not blue-eyed, and we're definitely not tall. So he was really popular with the ladies. Way too popular for Juana's taste. Juana was the yellow type. She used to scream, yell, shout, kick things out of the way, and that's the reason why she was nicknamed Juana la Loca, Juana the Mad. She was probably not that crazy, she was just probably jealous, because Philip used to go out too many nights of the week with too many ladies. So, well, that's the way history is written, right? The fact is that Ferdinand, the Catholic monarch, didn't want Philip and Juana to become king and queen of Spain. The reason for Juana, because she was crazy. The reason for Philip, because he was a foreigner, and Ferdinand was not fond of foreigners. Now, he was lucky enough. Philip never became king of Spain. He died at a pretty young age. He went to play a game of squash one day. He came back to the castle, he ordered a glass of freezing water. He drank it, he fainted, he had fever for 3 days, and he died. Still nowadays, people in Spain will tell you, don't drink cold water after doing exercise. You may have a heart attack and die. There is no scientific relationship, I'm going to repeat this for the Spaniards in the group. There is no scientific relationship between drinking cold water after exercising and dying. But people here still believe it, right? Now, the real truth behind the death of Philip had nothing to do with drinking cold water after exercising. There are 2 possible theories. One of them, he was poisoned, probably by Ferdinand, since he didn't want him to become king of Spain. Second option, sorry about this one, he had syphilis. I mean, it was a normal disease at the time. Mostly if you were going with a lot of different people, and he used to go with a lot of different ladies. Things tend to happen. So the fact is that he never became king of Spain. Please, round of applause for Philip. After Philip died, Juana went completely bananas. She put the body of Philip in a casket and started traveling around Spain with the body in the casket. So the few people that were not convinced that she was crazy were convinced after that one. And Ferdinand decided to put her in a convent where she spent the rest of her life, so she never became Queen of Spain. The next one in line was the son of Philip and Juana, Charles. Charles I in Spain, Charles V in Germany. 2 names, same person. Now, the life of Charles started pretty crappy. So crappy that it actually started in a toilet. I mean, I said the mother was crazy, right? Well, she was at a party in the Netherlands. They were eating and drinking. 3:30 in the morning arrived. she started feeling a little bit sick. She thought she had an indigestion. So she went to the bathroom, and the indigestion was named Charles. Now after that, life got so much better. Because after that, there is only one way to go. Up. So he inherited both crowns from his mother, the crown of Castile and the crown of Aragon, both halves of Spain. The crown of Castile at the time had all the territories in the Americas, that were basically all of Latin America nowadays, plus part of the United States. And the crown of Aragon had Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily, and half of Italy. So pretty big kingdom already with those two crowns. But he also inherited the crown of his father, the crown of Philip, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the time were the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and half of Athens. Huge kingdom. He was actually crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. And he managed all those kingdoms for many years, until by the end of his life, he decided to retire to a monastery where he died of malaria. Please, round of applause for Charles. And then we have the greatest king of the Habsburg Empire, Philip II. Now, Philip II inherited all those territories from his father that we were talking about, and he added a few more. He claimed the crown of Portugal, and he got it. With Portugal came Brazil, so he had all of the Americas, and also came the Philippines. Actually, the Philippines are named after Philip over here. And he was also king of England for a very short period of time. He married Marianne, Queen Mary, Bloody Mary, not the drink, the queen. He married Marianne, and on the agreement it said, you will be the king of England while Marianne is alive. Well, Marianne died pretty soon after the wedding, and for that reason he lost the crown of England to Elizabeth I. Now this situation made him a little bit upset, so he decided to send the army to England to take the crown back. There was a small problem with the plan. He decided to nickname the army, and he nicknamed the army the Invincible Army. Now you should never nickname an army Invincible. If you ever have another army, don't nickname it Invincible. Because he's setting it for failure. The army didn't even make it to England. It was completely destroyed by a storm in the middle of the ocean in the north of Spain. So he never got the crown of England back. Now he changed the capital city from Toledo to Madrid. He started the construction of Plaza Mayor, and he built a monastery near Madrid, Monasterio del Escorial, where most of the Habsburg dynasty is nowadays buried. He retired over there, and he died 7 days later. Please, round of applause for Philip.
This is where it all goes horribly wrong, man.
We start with the downhill. Philip III, nickname Philip the Lazy. He inherited all those territories from his father, but he didn't inherit from his father the love for working. He thought that working was a dishonorable thing to do, so he didn't work a day in his life. Most like any other monarch that I know of. It is said that he had one servant for each task, and that each task was carried out by just one servant. This basically means the person that puts the shoe is different from the person that ties the shoe, and different from the person that cleans the shoe. And that's just for one foot. Another 3 for the other one. Now with that many servants, you can imagine where the money of Spain was going, right? Yeah. According to legend, that took him to his tomb. On a cold night in winter, he decided to call the bed warmers. Put an S at the end because there were several. There is a bed warmer that carries the bed warmer. There is another bed warmer that uses the bed warmer in the bed, and a third bed warmer that takes the bed warmer out of the bed. Now, problem was that on that cold night in winter, the third bed warmer was not there, and nobody else could do the task of taking the bed warmer out of the bed. So poor Philip III over here slowly cooked to death in his own bed. Now that's legend. The real truth is that he died after fighting for many months with cancer in his bed. Please, round of applause. Philip IV, nickname Philip the Loser. Because he basically lost everything. I mean, during his kingdom there was a lot of different wars, and he lost every single one of them. And that's the time when we lost all the territories in Europe. We conserved the Americas, but we lost all of Europe during the time of Philip IV. And poor guy, I'm gonna say something nice about Philip IV. Philip IV was a lover of the arts. He promoted the arts a lot, and during his kingdom, the Spanish golden age of painting started, with Velázquez as the painter of the royal family during the time of Philip IV. Now, besides that, not too much nicer to say, I'm afraid. He inherited the ways of his father, the love for eating, partying, and drinking, and that took him to his tomb. He died of gout. Now, for those of you who don't know what gout is a disease in which you don't eliminate uric acid. So if you drink a lot of beer and eat a lot of red meat, it tends to accumulate on your joints. But it can also accumulate on your veins and arteries. And that's what happened with Philip IV, because he ate a lot and he drank even more. Please, round of applause. And the worst of the worst was for poor Charles over here. Charles II, nickname the Bewitched. We have to take into account the Habsburg dynasty was a very incestuous dynasty. So we are talking about centuries of them marrying their own siblings, their own cousins, inbreeding. So the genetic pool was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it all went down with Charles. He had a genetic disease. They think it was called the Klinefelter syndrome. Now, they are not sure about that, but what they are sure about is about the list of physical problems that he had. We are going to go over a few of them. Repeat after me. He had a bone disease that made his legs being bent and his back being hung. Stay. His jaw was really big, so he couldn't actually chew. Food had to be chewed beforehand for him. And he was continuously drooling. Don't repeat that. His tongue was really big, so he couldn't actually speak properly and make himself understood. Not that anybody cared what he had to say, because he was kind of retarded. But as you can see, many physical problems, right? Well, the doctors of the time decided that the way of solving all these issues was going with animal carcasses. Back to same position. So they took a pigeon and put it on top of the head of the king, hoping that that would solve the situation. Now the situation didn't get solved. What a surprise. And the doctors of the time, that were really smart people, decided that the problem was that the animal was not big enough. So after the pigeon came a cat, a dog, a sheep, a pig, a horse, a bear. I mean, by the end of his life, the bedroom looked more like a slaughterhouse than an actual bedroom for a king, and nothing worked. He ended up dying of all the complications of his physical problems, or maybe under the pressure of all the animals that they put on top of his head. Please, big round of applause for Charles. There was another small problem with Charles, but I didn't want to have her on the spot for that one. He was impotent and sterile. So this opened a period of war in Europe because there was no succession for the Spanish crown. So England, France, and Germany fought to see who was the one taking the crown of Spain. The ones that won, the French. The dynasty that came after the Habsburgs, the Bourbons. The same dynasty that we have here today. Ironies of destiny, a dynasty from a country that doesn't have monarchy anymore. I guess we are keeping them safe here. Whenever the French want them, we will return them. By the way, we did have someone from France. Do you want to take them back? They just eat and come on, they just eat and sleep. They are nice people. Let's go to the next stop, and we will talk about the royal palace and the cathedral.